Now we're moving to the defender squads. You can start with the defender Colts.
Oh yeah.
They had a more recent bringing in some new coaches.
Yeah, some new coaches coming in. Big upside looking into the next season for the Indianapolis Colts. Um, First off, being that we have the top fourth in salary, salary cap, so we're gonna have a lot of money to spend this year on off-season acquisitions, to fully make our team fully depth. Bringing in certain players back like Jabal Sheard, who had he was one of the top end as far as QB pass rushers. Andrew Luck, if he's healthy, which most likely I feel like he is, they're saying that he doesn't need injury, no more shoulder surgery, so he should be coming back stronger this year. We got Brissett as a backup who played pretty solid this year.
Correct.
I I actually did a little bit of thing about this. Well, let me go a little bit more about the players. We have Malik Hooker, Melvin, who I think we need to resign. It was our cornerback that played pretty excellent. Wilson, who played sparingly last year, but when he did play, played amazing. Nate Harrelson, our 5th-round draft pick, who played amazing as a nickel cornerback. Jack Doyle, who's been our replacement since Dallas Clark left, and Fleener and stuff like that. He's actually one of the top as far as pass catching tight ends this season. Very underrated. Call him Mr. Fundamental. He does everything right. Almost. Marlon Mack, a good change of pace running back. We're gonna need a starting running back with Frank Gore, 34 years old. Maybe bring him back. You could.
Might throw some money at Le'Veon Bell. Try to draft shake.
I don't think Le'Veon Bell's gonna get. I don't think Pittsburgh is letting him go. But
sure.
I say you go for. If you can go for a person, you can go for go back to 49ers. Get a Carlos Hyde. Get an Isaiah Crowell. These are certain players out here that can play. That are very efficient, good pass blockers, and have been playing a while for a long period of time. But more running backs, the better. I see with
Marshawn Lynch.
I told you about that one coming into the season.
Yeah, I thought it would work out.
I knew that was not going to.
It really did it. Like.
It's a year removed, and that's a whole different team. They're tripping. But with Mark Rice, he played very well with the Eagles as three-headed running backs. Clemens, Ajayi, and Blunt. So there's a good chance when he had his press conference, he spoke about there's going to be a fast-paced, no-huddle type of offense. The high pace, the ones that keep it moving to try to keep the defense guessing. Multiple running backs usually are beneficial in those type of situations because you're there long enough. When it comes down to the next series, you got the next running back in and keeping it nice and fresh and always keeping the yards moving. So that's going to be an issue that we go into the off season. We got Carlos Hyde as our grow up. Wide receiver position, we got T.Y. Hilton as their primary receiver. No one else really beyond it. Moncrief on his contract season, battled a lot of injuries. Andrew Luck loves that guy in the red zone. 7 games last year, 7 touchdowns. I guess he's a very good at the end zone, but we may need more production. We had Kamar Aiken on a 1-year deal that he's probably not going to get re-signed. They didn't have the greatest production down here as well. So I see us looking into. I think looking forward, we need to focus mainly on our linebacker position, who needs to be probably a little bit more groomed or get some more players. Running back position, edge rusher, wide receiver. Offensive line goes somewhere after wide receiver. Edge rusher, inside linebacker, running backs are main primary things. Everyone keeps speaking about, offensive line needs to be more improved. And I actually looked through some of the stats as far as the Colts goes. And I looked at Jacoby Brissett, who had, I think it was 4th. Top 7 in time to throw the ball beyond the pocket as far as efficiency. Okay. And he was top 7. But yet he led the league in sacks. So if you have time to throw the ball, but you lead the league in sacks, can it necessarily only be offensive line? No. But yet, everyone keeps bringing up, Colts need the offensive line. Colts need the offensive line. Colts need the offensive line. We've had good production from our left tackle,
They do that to y'all
Costanzo.
too, the Giants. When the stats don't show.
It doesn't show nothing.
That,
I actually looked at it. Doesn't show nothing. Only problem I need offensive line is because, they're all free agents.
Yeah.
But they played pretty efficient last year.
Yeah, again, if you look at the numbers.
But no one looks at the numbers to that sense. They just look at the game and say, oh, he got sacked.
Yeah.
But you didn't see that he held the ball for 40 seconds. But Costanzo, Jack Muir was our top draft pick. He's had battle injuries.
Mm-hmm.
We picked up a guy, Luke. I can't say his name, but it's with a V. He's played very well at that left guard position. Kelly played very well at the center position. Even our backup Pearson played very well at the center position. Our main concern is right tackle. Right guard with Joe Haig has been pretty solid. But our right tackle, maybe right guard could probably be a little improvement, but that's always been our problem. Is our right tackle position that we drafted a banner last year.
Justin Pugh.
Just you might go for him because he's a free agent.
Yeah,
so they might go for a play like that. We might go for Houston's left guard positions, or you can go get a guard in the draft. It's actually a nice guard that I actually watched him play. He played out of
O.G. Nelson with Notre Dame.
Not even him. Willie Hernandez. I can't remember what team exactly he plays for, but he's a big guy. He kind of looks. I like him because he plays the right tackle position. He plays the guard position, and he's a really fat guy. And he looks like he's almost for a Seattle team because Seattle like big, because they're a running team. I don't know if people notice. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit off on the Colts, but people keep calling like Seattle also. It's poor offensive line. It's not really a poor offensive line. I've been one of those to say that they have a bad offensive line, and I really look at it.
Well, talent wise, they're not a lot of high draft picks.
They're not in that sense, but they are efficient offensive linemen. It's just that Seattle has lacked a run game since Marshawn Lynch. Ever since Marshawn Lynch has not been there.
Beyond Marshawn Lynch, since Russell became a star. Like maybe his second and third year when he started to really throw the football.
But even since
they started struggling.
His sacks and hit rates only got worse when Marshawn Lynch was less than part of the offense.
That's true.
So
he was taking more throws though. He was throwing it a lot more.
But they were using it better because when Marshawn Lynch was there running efficiently, they were using play action. Now play action doesn't work when the running back just got picked up from the practice squad.
Oh, that's scary. Like
he's not scary. Like he's like, all right, Ben, you might get 8 yards, but you ain't beast moded. We don't need 8 men on the box no more.
Or even 9. We're not scared.
So now that's so let me go back to with the Colts. Offensive line, I said, not a big issue. I think there's a lot of free agent offensive linemen this season, and I think so most likely we're gonna be very heavy this free agency to pick up offensive linemen to keep depth in that situation. Inside linebackers in this draft, I've seen some players that, like, even if you decide to go for Bradley Chubb early and you want to go for someone later on, I personally think that we should trade our picks and pick up more players. I think it's Saquon Barkley. I like him. I do like him as far as the talent. I think he's gonna be an amazing player. I think he's gonna be that next Todd Gurley, that person where just singly all you do is give him the ball and he's good. But for the last 2 years, and I mentioned it last year, it's been I think I said it was the year of the running backs. I think it's the decade of the running backs. I think it's just straight running backs. In this draft alone, there's so much depth at running backs from Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, Darius Geis, I think it's K1 now. I can't remember his name right now.
I see the other one. I'm just not.
It's just
I'm not buying into them.
Like,
even with Kareem Hunt last year, I'm not buying.
You don't buy into.
You can have a good year in the right situation, but y'all don't jump off the page the way like. See the previous like good stock of running backs we had, like I would say the Adrian Peterson, like he was like around that time, like
no, but you're like the players I mentioned, like even with these players that you brought up from these last couple of years, they're all going to be efficient starters for the next years to come. And I think
dominant, like when I'm thinking like Sean McCoy or Le'Veon Bell.
Oh yeah, but this is a different league right now.
Even with Atlanta with the 2 other months they got.
But I think
high picks. Like.
But this is going to be this is a whole different league how it's shaping out. I think it's shaping out to the 2-man running back. It's really hard.
Football changes.
Yeah.
I think the media creates different narratives.
No, but I'm saying,
but the football teams they're the same.
But I think the game plan changes. It's a copycat league.
I don't agree.
It is.
I think that's an ESPN narrative.
I think
when you think of Belichick, I'm now studying him out. He has the same philosophy on players since he was with the Browns in the early '90s.
No, but
Andy Reid has the same philosophy that he had when he was in the early '90s.
Yeah, and that's
they still doing that now. Yeah, it might look different with Alex Smith versus Donovan McNabb, but he's running these same plays.
Well, majority of the new quarterbacks coming in are creating new different type of playbooks and new type of formations that are different.
Like, what's the difference between Jake Plummer and Steve Young and Carson Wentz and Jared Goff?
Oh, you're comparing
skill sets are the same.
I'm not comparing players. I'm comparing schemes.
And to me, the schemes are the same.
I think the schemes are very different. In years before, it was only a certain limited amount of teams that had two-headed running backs. Almost
really? Yes. Even Brian Westbrook with the Eagles, he had a backup that would get 5 carries a game.
But the Eagles,
so even when he was sick, he wasn't a two-headed monster.
First off, the Eagles,
they had backup running backs.
Eagles, Patriots, San Diego or LA.
Even the Giants, they still have multiple running backs now.
The Giants.
As a matter of fact, the Bills with Shane McCoy. They run 2 running backs out there.
There's a running back and a fullback.
But he runs the ball though.
So barely. With the Oakland Raiders, he gets about 20. He gets 20 carries a season. So he's barely running the ball. He's been hurt majority of the time.
I ain't talking about Tolbert. I ain't talking about
not Tolbert.
I ain't not talking about.
Oh, so then you get players where like you can see like those players that where they just started. Where I started to see mainly of the two-headed running back was mainly when during the Jets
when they go back with the Falcons when they had Warwick Dunn. And the other man, there was a two-headed monster over there.
Rodgers? No, Turner. Michael Turner.
Nah, it was way before Turner. It was done to somebody else.
Michael
Vick
Turner.
in the third, but Turner was before Michael Vick. Turner wasn't there with Vick. They never played together. But even before that,
so you talking about Rodgers?
You got Dunn and Allstott.
You talking about?
But it's another play.
But I'm talking about where you utilize the two-headed running back in a situation where it's like, all right, when I first saw where players from off scrimmage were getting really pounding yards, whereas Thomas Jones and LaDainian Tomlinson. That's when that first really came into where like, oh, this really can really work as far as a dominating team. Most players, if you look at anyone's averages any years between that, they didn't average as much as they did. It's not until then that it started to rise where you see like, oh,
I can't say it's a rise. I've seen plenty of teams do that. I've seen the Denver Broncos with Mike Anderson and I forgot the other gentleman's name, where they had 3 running backs after Terrell Davis got hurt. And they still was all doing 1,000 yards with 3 running backs.
They was not doing
I remember the Giants
had 1,000 yards as a team?
No. One of them would get 1,000, and the rest of them would get high numbers. There was a 3 running back team.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
I forgot the other name, but this is not new. But even before the Jets and they doing that, the Giants had 2 running backs with Bradshaw and Jacobs before the Jets. And even before that, you had Ron Dane and Tiki Barber as a dual running back field. I can even go multiple before that with what's the dude? Reggie Brown and Ricky Williams in that dual backfield. To me, this has been going on.
But I just think it's more of like...
I just think it got exposed narrative-wise by ESPN because we're ground and pound and all that, but it's been the case.
I just think it's more like if that's the case, like it's been lost within the last couple of seasons.
I just think running backs have not been valued. I think it looks like almost like running backs. But
that's what I'm saying. Like this is where the running back come back. I haven't seen a big tandem of like since those early years of like 06, 07, where you had really good dominant two-headed running backs. The only last one was
before that time with the Panthers when they had Stewart and Williams.
No, I was just want to say besides the Stewart and Williams that were until injuries pretty much suffered both of them. Yeah. That's still around. What was that? 2011, 2012.
And even the Saints, all they do is run.
But now
multiple running back from day one. That's Payton's thing.
No, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Now, where you get where it's more plays towards running. Like we're now with before. It was big running plays, but it was mainly off the quarterback. Now you're getting more running attempts, more rushing attempts per backups, and now if you look at those certain plays where like they had big yards or big numbers and big seasons, it was not so many multiple seasons. It was maybe one or two good seasons, and they took away from it, or it's a couple of big plays and they stop it. What I've been seeing now lately is people are now pounding the ball more and more, understanding that like you need to that more of that that balance where for the last couple of seasons, well, the last few years of the season, it's just been a throwing league. From back to back, Peyton Manning break a record, Drew Brees break the record, Tom Brady break the record, Aaron Rodgers break the record, Tom Brady break the record, and then you hear nothing from a running back.
But again, I think that has nothing to do with quarterbacks or offense, as much to do with the league now making defensive receivers and like you can't touch like all those rules that came in with pass interference, defensive receivers. Well, who's going to benefit the most? Quarterbacks, because I could throw it in the middle and the defender I can't hit this receiver. I have to let him catch it and then try to hit him. So now all that Matthew Stafford got big numbers off of it. Kirk Cousins got big numbers off of it. You can throw it to Deshaun Jackson middle of the field now because as a safety, I can't pop him no more.
But that's what I'm saying. But it takes away from running the ball.
So correct. I completely agree with you on that.
So that's what I'm saying. I guess what I mean, like as far as like there were two-headed monsters like back there, but they were not utilized how they're being utilized there now. And I think what showed it most, I think to most teams, or what I would hope, but I think it was mainly against the playoff, the Super Bowl against the Patriots and the Falcons. I think in that game where they just realized
Coleman and
Freeman barely got the ball in that game, and you lose the game to a team that's yes, Tom Brady can throw the ball all day because it's different with Tom Brady. He doesn't have to run.
That's the same reason that the Seahawks didn't win back-to-back championships. The running game is what got you here,
and then you take away. Look,
tried to get cute.
Marshawn Lynch is the reason why you're in there. You stop. You take away Marshawn Lynch, your team doesn't even make the playoffs. So it's just like, so it's like you take.
Well, they had a two-headed monster at one point. Like was it Precise?
No, they had someone else.
Precise was his name?
Didn't have
Yeah, they had another name.
They had somebody on Precise. Precise was just like one standing, but
they
had a legit person. I just can't remember who it is right now.
I think he went to Denver afterwards.
No, I think he went to Carolina. Did he go to Carolina?
But it was another guy that was used to.
There was a legit, real person back there.
Back too.
I just can't remember who it is right now. I hope that comes to my head right now. But when teams use that's what I mean. Like the whole as far as a copycat, where it's like you be like, oh snap, that really does work.
I don't think they copy it. I just think we're just now noticing.
No, well,
you know what I mean?
It's not about. I don't know about noticing.
It's like if I lose this game. And I look at why I lost, and we only had 19 carries. Well, the next week I'm probably going to say...
Well, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Copycat, this is looking at... I like the word copycat. It's like, because it's like, you notice what works and what you can do. And then now you start to learn that certain players... You start to... I think within the last couple of years, I'm starting to notice who are real coaches.
I think the copycat that I will agree with is the whole slot receiver. I think the league has copied that off of, like, the Wes Welker thing. Like, I could use a slot receiver, Victor Cruz,
and then also
I can now dominate because you can't really stop a small receiver
and then
in
also
the middle of the field.
With the tight end position.
Yeah.
Like, the tight ends have gotten smaller.
That's right. They've been more receiver.
They're more of their slot tight end than more than just a receiver. So it's like you start noticing how you can advance your offenses and stuff like that. I don't really see that much on defense, but
I agree with that.
But
defense, they just keep taking things away from them. Like,
it's hard to play defense. You only have a small gap to where you can hit. So with the running situation. So I feel that we should take a strong hold on looking at the running. When I looked into Andrew Luck when he played in when he was in Stanford in college, his best years came when he had a running game. Okay. His best years
quarterback.
It only makes sense. It only makes sense. Yeah. It's like I just been saying, if you could run the ball, you can throw the ball.
Wentz and Goff, they both benefited huge this year from elite running games.
And then Goff didn't have the most amazing passing season. No. If you look at his receivers, they didn't have. I don't know if they did top 50 receptions, maybe. But you look at Gurley, super year. With that being said, I like that. Edge rushers. I think there's a few solid edge rushers, but I think you have to be smart on the edge rushers that you pick. You can't, and how do they fit? Yeah. We look at a team like San Francisco. I would hope that it improves, but you look at a team like San Francisco. They've picked up Sheldon Thomas and Buckner. Both of them combined, I think, had 10 sacks this year.
I really like the coach.
I did like them. Yeah. But this year, they both combined for about, I think, less than 10 sacks, I think, together or something like that. not the most biggest production that you wish, especially coming out of a guy who had a good season. That's a good. That whole defensive line is brand new, fresh, young talent. They're still young, but this is why I think edge rusher should come mainly for the Colts team during the free agency. I think personally, when you have money, your money should be spent on free agents that who already have proven themselves, and whatever you can do is to pattern your team with the draft. So you can trade up, get a late first round and a two second rounds, and really pattern your team. That's how you can fix up your inside linebackers. You can get another running back. Get more talent where now you become more depth.
More competitive.
And I think a great acquisition that could be for the Colts is Ezekiel Anansa coming out of the Detroit Lions. Very pass rusher, play a 4-3 defense. Had a breakout season a couple years ago. Had an injury the last year, then played pretty decent this year. I think had double-digit sacks ending the season. So that'll be a nice person to put over there with Jabal Sheard and John Simon. And now you go into the draft, you pick up, let's say, a Davenport, Marcus Davenport. You pick up a Ardeen Key. You pick up what's his name? The other guy from linebacker. Damn, I can't think of his name right now. But so there's a few inside linebackers that you can take into the draft. Running backs, you can take the guy like K'Wan Johnson out of Auburn, and really fill that team where it's nice and simple. And
just find an entire training staff and bringing a fresh staff to make sure your quarterback doesn't go.
No, everybody's fresh. Everybody's fresh. Even
training staff.
Everybody's fresh. Everybody's fresh.
After what happened with Luck, I'm firing my whole.
The strength and training. Man,
we missed a whole year. Like Cam Newton had the same injury. Well, we fired this whole training.
No, yeah, because he came in. He's who did he help? There was somebody. Oh, Brian Urlacher. He was Brian Urlacher when Brian Urlacher tore his ACL. He's the one that got him back into the playoff mode. We got him. We picked up him as a special training. You picked up Alan Williams from Detroit Lions as a secondary coach. He's been one of the elite secondary and a defensive coordinator at one point. You picked up Bluefus. I'm sorry, I'm messing up his name. Cowboys. Bluefus. I can't remember his name. Danny Bluefus.
Was that linebacker?
He was their linebackers coach.
Okay.
And passing coordinator. Okay. So he was the one that handled that team, which led the defense to the top 10 defense last year. And then you get Noran Sarani, wide receiver and quarterback coach for the formerly wide receiver and quarterback coach from the LA Chargers. He helped develop Phillip Rivers, and Tyrell Williams had a breakout season the one time he was there. Keenan Allen had an amazing season this year. Travis Benjamin had an amazing this year. That's going to be our offensive coordinator going in. I think going in is just, it's looking almost on the up and up. A lot of money to spend. A lot of free agents.
I'd be scared of football teams to spend money because I don't think you can spend yourself to a championship.
Eagles did.
I don't think the Eagles did. Like, if you look at a lot of the Eagles players, like a lot of that's still drafted. A lot of the younger players, like for instance, their safety Jenkins, they drafted him and developed. He's one of their better players.
Patrick Robinson had a good season.
Nick Foles technically is theirs. Like
Nick Foles is theirs,
and he's brought back.
LeGarrette Blount, he helped out.
I remember the core players.
Alshon Jeffries.
So what I was like, I'm scared of money. Is like, I feel like your core players, your leaders on the balls have to be your players. Like, so when the Giants, it's Michael Strahan, Eli Manning, Odell. These are players you drafted with the Patriots. It's usually players that they drafted that's their core players. Like, you can always spend for the other pieces, but your core got to be built on your draft. So with the Colts, when they were at their best, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Peyton Manning, you drafted these players.
Of course.
And now you can spend and add other players to make your team good, like the Corey Dillon signing with the Patriots. Like, we can always spend and add a Randy Moss, but we still need the player that we drafted, Ron Gronkowski, Anthony Hernandez.
But this is my thing is, you get
Matt Light.
You get good
tackle that was there for like a decade.
You get great drafts,
Yeah.
But why? If you have the money, you spend it on free agency.
Was it to me? You have to have that young talent first. To you mean I said to me that's where the Rams. I feel like a few years ago with Spagnuolo, they had a lot of money. You just drafted Sam Bradford. Oh, we have a lot of money. We're just gonna bring in a bunch of players. We're gonna sign this guy to a big deal. We're gonna sign that safety to a big deal. And it's like,
but that's the main thing.
But you're not even ready to win.
But if you look at Chris Ballard and how he spends money, it's not. I'm not talking about all right. You have $140 million to spend in cash. Spend all of it.
No, even I'm Jimmy G deal. But I don't respect that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you have money, I need the right.
I don't think because we had that money last year.
Yeah,
and we picked up Jabal Sheard on a 2-year contract for less than $10 million.
But John Simon but what I say with the Colts, they're not in that position. They're not rebuilding. Like Andrew Luck is a franchise player. So Malik Hook on the other side is looking like he will be a franchise. So
I think we just need.
So again, I think they're in a good position. I'm not really saying about them. I'm just saying in general.
No, I know. I get what you're saying.
Almost with the Browns a couple years ago.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You spend money on Collins and you give this guy a huge deal.
Yeah, because
and it's like, where are you to be spending that kind of money on these particular players? Like, now you have to eat that, and then you want to bring in a young player, somebody that's already in that position.
You can't spend big money on a team that's still rebuilding, and you're just throwing big money on a player. You don't even know if he's going to work with that system. Exactly. The coach might even be here how long he's here.
The Jets had to just go through that. Yeah, go when they
gave
all the money to Fitzpatrick.
I thought you were saying like in general, like you should spend. But yeah, because what he does, I know he's going to because Cameron Aiken, it was a 1-year deal. Simon and Sheard 2-year deals.
No, he looked fine. Like I like the fact that he fired Pagano. He didn't play no games.
He drafted Banner and traded him.
He got Wilson, which is a corner that was supposed to be a top 10 corner a year ago. Then he got and then he got Hooker.
And then he got what's the thing? Health scratch.
Yeah, so he got.
So I don't know. For some reason, he wasn't playing.
I fucked with his draft. So
he picked up three. He picked up 3 solid corners.
And they traded me for Brissett. So everything I saw from him has looked good.
Yeah,
I had one vision. So I mean, I have no problem with him.
Yeah, but I really believe he's going to go into free agency hitting it hard to take majority of our needs because it's going to be majority depth. And then you get some young players, and then you just keep that in rotation. Because even if you grab a Zeke announcer, you can give him to a nice, good deal. Mm-hmm. Or you can go like a Jarvis Landry. But I don't think you go for both.
No.
I think you go for one or the other. Because I also still like DJ Chark. I swear. Mm-hmm. And I think he might go 2nd or 3rd round. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, this kid's going to be talented. This kid is going to be very talented. He can pump return, kick return, run the ball from the backfield, and he can catch.
I feel the same way about DJ Moore.
So like these are like these young players where they don't have the most progression because the team is not as great.
Yeah.
Or they don't get the ball as much because it's a running team.
And I feel like in the NFL, like you don't have that time. You got a time to develop. Like if you suck for 1 year, that's it. That's it.
Mainly if you're a
quarterback, head coach, like running back. Even like if you don't look good and they give you 1 year to look good and you don't have no promise, you're done. Like what they're doing right now to Perkins with the Giants, I just don't agree with. You in college have the most broken tackles in the season, and then next year, you don't know how to make people miss? Well, like if you got 7 NFLers in front of me and you're a rookie, you're not used to making them miss yet. They're on another level. You have to let him develop into that skill he already showed.
First off, you gotta learn how to read the gaps.
You know what I'm saying? Like give him a chance.
First, because that's
the one thing. Battling for time with Darkwood, who's in the same boat.
I think that's why it's why I do like these new ages of running backs coming in is because they're reading the gaps a little bit better than they.
They're playing more zone runs than before, where it's just like you just run through the guard before. Now the zone runs has been going into the league.
It's kind of really, but then at the same time, it's kind of hard to determine a good running back because a lot of these defenses hit the wrong gaps and these big long runs. So that's why I don't pay attention to the big run. When I can see you average 4 or 5 yards per carry constantly, and I can see you pick up the blitzer on the block. That's how I like the guy K'Wan Johnson. He really can pick up a blitzer. He seems like the all-around running back, and I think he's just gonna sit there and go.
I haven't looked too far, but that running back I just looked at like basically Juice. I think his name is Geis, and
you never seen Nick Chubb? Nick Chubb's been balling.
No, I didn't.
He's been balling when Gurley was there.
Oh no, I mean I'm aware of him, but I haven't.
And then Sony Michel, I think is better.
I also I follow who my team is after first, because to me in the draft there's so much prospects. Like you really get a chance to really look at them detailed those few weeks before the draft. Up until that, I'm just focused on players I think my team should be looking after. Because there's so many plays that you got to look at.
So
it's
many.
7 rounds. It's not like the NBA.
This actually
with 60 picks.
This actually, before I even end this, there's one linebacker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it out right now.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be the nicest linebacker and one of the nicest linebackers in this draft. And if I'm mistaken, I'm wrong.
It might be that high fly.
But you never know. But it's a kid named Darius Leonard. If you just watch his film, watch the guy Darius Leonard. No, I think that's the one I was trying to get his name.
He's a linebacker that all of a sudden he went from 3rd round to now he at top 20.
Yeah, because now they start watching because you know what it is. They seen him in the Senior Bowls, and then that's all of a sudden now he's not.
I seen him like right behind Roquan Smith in that last.
All of a sudden, Roquan Smith is like 3rd,
and I'm like, wait, who is this? Like,
and Jackson is barely the top 5 now. So like, how was Jackson? How was it Roquan Smith, Jackson, and
I see
Ragland? I think is no,
I see
not
Roquan Smith. I see one of these like Urlacher's, Lewis. Like one of these main linebackers that come around once in a blue.
Only reason my only thing with Roquan is his
Not as big as him?
No, it's his him in coverage. The reason I like Darius Leonard is because him in coverage.
Urlacher keeping coverage,
but Darius Leonard the fact of no this when you watch like watch Darius Leonard against Clemson. Just watch him when he does not he watched the gap. Right. He is not like I'm guessing where the running back is going. I'm going where the running back is going, and all I've seen him do is make plays.
He's a linebacker.
Linebacker. Just watch. I wish I could remember what team it was going right down. But just first Clemson. Just put Darius Leonard, and that's the team. And then look at the team when they're playing. When he's not playing, it's a different team. But I think he's going to be one of those star linebackers that. People be like, "Oh, he came out of nowhere." No, you did. Yes, he came from a nowhere school, but you didn't scout.
They did that with Odell, and it's like Odell did not come out of nowhere.
Just like DJ Chark. Watch.
His man's Landry did not come out of nowhere. They're on a running team with elite hands.
But my thing is, they're on a running team, but when they do get the ball, or do you watch them when they beat the corners? Is any of that even you watch? You just watch when they catch the ball.
You watch their catches. Both of them. Have supreme hands
because I think they put a player
supreme catches
like if I was gonna play they have Christian Kirk as like one of the top prospects, right? Now I think I think I can actually put this out there, and I'm gonna if I'm like I said, I don't care. I believe what I see. I think DJ Chark is gonna be better than Christian Kirk, and I think Christian Kirk. I think Christian Kirk resembles Tyreek Hill to me, and I think he's gonna be really talented, but. He's almost like Steve Smith in a sense, but not so much angry because he can really catch the ball in traffic.
I only know like a handful of receivers, like the ones that I've been watching, so I can't speak on that. But as I said, Cortland Sutton, that's the kid I've been talking about since his year started. Like on tape, he just looks like checks off the boxes, all of them.
He's a big guy, but it's gonna be a lot of talent.
Almost like the receiver they got over there with Tennessee.
It's a lot of talent.
Big receiver that can check off all the boxes.
But yeah, that's my defense squad. I think the Colts. This would be ideal. With that division looking the way it is, Houston is going to be looking beast. Well, only problem with Houston is that I'm not sure how healthy Houston going to be with. They do get a lot of injuries with as far as the wide receiver and Deshaun Watson, and but it's a torn ACL again.
That's true.
So then. Running game is going to have to be addressed a little bit more, and as well as was Lamar Miller. Yeah. Running backs have to be addressed a little bit more. And that defense, them corners. I told you from last year, they was going to get torched a little bit. They did, and they're only getting older. Jonathan Joseph is.
He's still over there.
He's still there.
Wow.
He's the number 1 corner.
He's been there since Andre Johnson.
Son.
Wow.
But that defensive line is just so efficient. That's what helps their corners. So that will be that one team that we're gonna need to win in order to make a playoff run. Okay. Because I think we can always take Tennessee.
Okay. I mean, we'll see what happens with Mariota and his new weapons and how that works out. That's a great
my boy.
Squad. I think with the Colts could be dynastic with a good defense and Andrew Luck if he could come back healthy. I think it's promise there because Cam did come back and actually have a good season. So there's promise that if they get it right, Luck will be fine. He's that dynamic player. Um, that was a great defensive squad.